What's going on, everyone? This is Shane. We're doing mobility prep for the upcoming 2013 Reindeer Games. The first event is Jingle Bars, which is a 2-rep overhead squat ladder. So when I'm thinking about preparing my mobility for that kind of an event, I'm thinking ankles, glutes, adductors, thoracic spine, your lats and pecs. So you need mobility in your ankles, in your hips, and in your shoulders to be able to overhead squat effectively. So I'm going to have Alex demonstrate a good mobility in the overhead squat, and then a poor mobility. So if you've done good work on your mobility, your overhead squat should look something like this. Go up and down a couple times. And when you're in an overhead squat ladder, the more efficient you are, the less wasted energy there's going to be. So now let's pretend Alex had poor ankle mobility and he tried to overhead squat. Look at the forward lean in the shoulder position and go up and down like that if you can. I know it's terribly uncomfortable. And then if he couldn't open his hips up, if we watch from the front, if he had tight hips and his knees could not get out, again, he's leaning way far forward. Now get your hips open. Good, much better position. So that's what we're going to work on. So go ahead and put the bar down. Take this camera. So the first thing to do is, as you saw, if his ankles can't go forward, if he has no ankle mobility, he's going to be very bent over, which is going to be an unsafe position and he won't lift a lot of weight. So the easiest thing to do is put your calf and your Achilles on a barbell. Usually you want to elevate the barbell up off the ground by putting a 5-pound plate on each side, and then just smash around, getting any knots out in your calves. You can roll up and down, you can pin your foot down and then make ankle circles, and just smash anything from here to here and kind of unglue it and get it a little bit more supple. And then after you smash that, you can stretch it on a box. It's okay to do it on the pole like this if you're familiar with that one, but one that I like even more than that is to get on a box with a little bit of weight, hook that around your waist, hold on to something for support, and then just let your heel drop off the edge. And then hang out here and just let your heel sink down towards the ground. And then tense up and release. You pretend like you're stepping on the gas pedal of a car. You tighten up and release. And then watch your ankle mobility improve. After that one, don't kill yourself, is glutes. So we want as much hip flexion as possible to be able to overhead squat deeply. And to get that, the glutes have to be pretty open. So my favorite way of getting into this is setting up like this, pushing my hip back and sticking my butt out, and then getting my belly button aimed straight forward. And this shin bone is straight across in front of me. And then I pin my foot down, and I go back into a pigeon pose. If you stay tall, even if you're not that flexible in the glutes, you should at least be able to get into this kind of position. And then you tense up, I'm squeezing everything, squeezing my butt, and release, and I sink back. Try to stay directly behind my shin. And you can kind of hunt around. You can lean to the side, you can drop your shoulder towards your foot, you can lean this way. There's no wrong way to do it. You can do the diva special, which is just throw your arm down here like that if you're more flexible, and then breathe and relax. So that's going to get your glutes opened up, which is going to allow you to be in a better position. Next thing we got is the adductors. There's a million ways of getting at it, but a very simple one is take a wide stance squat, open your knees up, and then push out with your elbow and just kind of pry your hips open. You can tense up and release, squeeze your knees together and release, and that's going to allow your knees to get farther out so you can be more upright when you're squatting. After that, so that's ankles and hips, 2 quick ones. After that, we're going to go to your spine, your lats, and your pecs to get your shoulder mobility where it needs to be so that you're in efficient positions. So if your spine's rounded like this, which all of us are to some degree given how much we sit, if your spine's rounded, you're not going to have a good overhead position until you get your spine straighter, and you have all this new shoulder range of motion. So hop on your roller. Put your hands behind your head, roll up and down, arch over and back, just trying to get some motion in your spine going. If you have the shoulder range of motion for it, you can go arms overhead and cradle your head and roll up and down, or do little crunches, or just breathe and relax. Think inhale and get long. Exhale, release. And hang out there until you feel like you're getting more arch in your upper back. Then the lats, come on over here. If the lats are really tight right here, you're going to have a hard time getting in a strong overhead position. So the easiest way is palm up to the sky, band on the back of the wrist, cross it over in front, sit down, and just kind of hunt around, looking for where you're tight right out here. You can tense and release by sucking your shoulder down in the socket and releasing, hunt around. And then the last one for overhead is the lacrosse ball and the pecs. So you take a single lacrosse ball or a double lacrosse ball and get it from this side. You put the lacrosse ball right here in your pec, and you lean into the pole, and then you move your arm up and down with a bent elbow scooping up to a straight arm or out in a big circle. Just kind of unglue everything in here. If this is tight from this side, again, it's going to be hard to go overhead in a strong position. So you got to open that up, and then you can kind of stretch it out right here, hunting for a stretch right there. So that's event one. That's going to be the hardest one mobility-wise because that's overhead squatting, which requires mobility everywhere. But event three, sorry, the first one was event 2, jingle bars. Event 3 is called the Grinch, and it's a longer, chipper workout. Nothing's as demanding as the overhead squat in the second event. So you can just hit the ankles again, because one of the things that you do have to prepare for is the pistols in this workout. So a lot of people, if they're missing ankle range of motion and they can't sink all the way down into a pistol, their shin stays vertical and they just fall over backwards. If it's like a week or two before the event and you don't have the ankle range of motion, you might want to consider wearing some kind of Olympic lifting shoe so that you have the ankle range of motion to do your pistols. But if you don't, do the same ankle smash we just did, stretch, and then also for the deadlifts, to make sure that you can get down to the bar with a flat back and you're not running out of hamstring range of motion and then rounding and you're in an inefficient and unsafe position. You want to smash and stretch your high hamstrings. So the way we do that is you take a ball, get over here on the box, you put that ball in the high hamstring, so it's right there, right underneath your butt on the high hamstring where it attaches, and you just kind of peel around searching for what's ugly and dense and just kind of unglue it and kind of shear it apart. And then when you do that for a little while, you'll notice that your hamstring range of motion improves a lot and the tissue is less gnarled and knotted. So after you mash around on that for a little while, a basic stretch that I like, which you can do almost anywhere, is get an elevated surface. This is fine. Throw your foot up there, keep your abs tight, and then you're going to fold forward and tense up. So I'm pushing my foot down like I'm trying to break this thing off. And then I release, fold forward a little bit. Try to not let your back round. If you're more familiar with these kind of stretches, you can let your back round, but just go slow so you're not hurting your back at all. And then just breathe and relax. I wouldn't do this immediately before the workout and hang out in this stretch for forever, because you need to get hot and sweaty before the workout. But I'm talking the days prior, get your hamstrings unglued and get some more range of motion in your hamstrings so that your deadlifts are efficient as they can be. So those are the basic mobility tips we got for you. Check them out, try them out. Good luck in the games.